HR Unfiltered.
Hi, Julia. Welcome to HR Unfiltered podcast, and thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you, Julia. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be the guest of your podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, say a couple of words about my guest today, Julia. And Julia is someone whose career reads like a masterclass in reinvention. So Julia has been in recruitment for over 15 years, correct me if I'm wrong. And I feel like you know everything how hiring works from the inside out. And also, but what I want to highlight here today is that Yulia's perspective is especially interesting for today's conversation because for the past couple of years, also, if I'm not mistaken, she focused her energy over automation, something that is very important in our world, and yeah, something that everyone is like using at the moment, or maybe not even everyone,
Talking
but at least
about, talking about.
yeah,
I
at
think.
least talking about it. So yeah, I would like to stop here for a moment and pass the word to Julia. Please introduce yourself. Yeah, and
Thank,
yeah.
thank you, Julia. Thank you, Julia. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a while since I'm in the recruitment world. I don't like to say this amount of years because it's really too much, to be fair. But yeah, I'm starting my career around 15 years ago, and basically the recruitment is my main expertise, as I do have some experience as HRD and have some experience as HR generalist. But I think around the last 10 years, I'm focusing only on recruitment. Yeah, and to be fair, like the last year, I focused a lot in automation and AI. So yeah, and I feel very excited and interested about this fair. So I do have some quick courses about the automation on Make and NA10 a little bit. Yeah, so basically just trying to, first of all, I was trying to automate all my stuff, and I'm still doing this. I'm still in the process, and I'm really excited. Sometimes, this all these tools are going in this feed, our LinkedIn feed, etc., on YouTube channel, like this tools, ChatGPT launched this new program, not program, like let's say doing their new updates and the Cloud Code and co-work. Oh my gosh, you're always trying to understand everything, and yeah, I think it's a lot of hype. I think about the
Mhm.
name of tools, and but if we will look like in the center of the automation as in general, I think it's really good stuff for recruiters to automate a lot of their work. Just, I mean, like more like admin work, and it really helps to then maybe to focus on improving the recruitment process or HR process in general, or like to discuss in more details with the candidate their experience. Yeah, to be
Mhm.
this human, human in the recruitment process and not just like interviews, etc., etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
is
thank
me.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll cover all of these topics, like hopefully during this episode. And so, yeah, as you already might have understood, today we are going to talk about automation in recruitment and HR, like what it is, where it actually adds value or could add value, and when, for example, you should skip it entirely. So, yeah, and what also we'll hear US opinion on what is coming for us, recruiters and HRs in 2026. So, yeah, let's get it started. Julia, once again, welcome to HR Unfiltered.
Yeah, thanks. Let's start it.
Um, okay, so let's start with the basics. If we are talking about automation in HR or recruitment, what is it for you, Julia? So when you hear automation, how do you define it?
So if we will look through our daily work, so as a recruiter or HR, we always work with a few systems like ATS, HRM system, and other documents like Notion, again, Google Docs, etc., etc. So we usually work with in parallel with different systems where we using data, copy pasting data from one to another, etc., etc. So it's all our manual work. And when we're talking about the automation, it's when you write a workflow how all the system works together, and you ask this system to communicate with each other on some level and just do some task without you. It doesn't mean that you do some automation and then you can just go for a walk, go
Walk
to spa,
away.
walk away, and everything will work without you. It's not about this, but it's about how to start communicate, learn the system to communicate with each other, so you don't need to to do it manually. So this is like a very maybe I was trying to clarify just as simple as it possible, without any some new words, AI, API, etc., etc. Nothing about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we actually hear about automation, we think that now we'll automate everything. And then these, as you mentioned at the very beginning, that the human interaction is not needed anymore. So it's like we are becoming robotics, let's say, or robots will take our job. But it's in my opinion, also, it's not about AI taking our job. It's about AI adding value to our job and making the life maybe easier in some way. So yeah, absolutely. And again, when it's coming to the, let's say, the most common use cases you see at the moment on the market, where do you think AI or this automation, not let's not talk about AI, right? As it is, where do you think automation adds value in HR and recruitment?
Well, if we're talking about recruitment, for example, so automation definitely helps to, for example, intake with the intake calls. So, and creating follow-ups or some kind of documents, updated documents after intake call with the hiring manager. Yeah, so literally it helps because, for example, me as a recruiter I hate to do this update, this in a spreadsheet or in Notion, Docs, etc. So it took me, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes after the call just to make some updates, etc., etc. Right now, it could be automated and with AI thing just to analyze everything, and you just need to check. So it doesn't mean that this is automation, as we mentioned before. Yeah, that's all. So as a human, we need to double check everything. But yeah, for example, intake calls, what I do like, so my first automation that I created by my own, it was filling in the feedback after the interview with the candidate. So I've got my recording interview, so transcription, yeah. Then the AI analyze this information plus candidate CV. And then literally I add some questions and rules, and then it just fill in all the information and what I need just to review it. For example, if I'm talking about the recruitment, external recruitment, so usually when I'm representing the candidates to my clients, I fill in the document, where is the presentation of the candidate. So for example, creating this document, it also could be with automation, with AI. So it helps a lot. For example, if we're talking about the HR process, so onboarding, learning and development, where there's a lot of notification, a lot of documentation that you need to check if the employer, newcomers read, if they understood everything, etc., etc. So all this stuff you could automate. You don't need to check if everybody looks through some documents, etc., and send reminders, etc., etc. We can automate it definitely. The candidate, for example, communication with the candidate, creating the outreach. Yeah, it also could be quite quick automated, I think. So, yeah, so maybe some exit interviews as well. It could be automated with some stuff as well. So I think this is the main thing what I see right now can be automated, and it's not very complicated, to be fair.
Yep.
So it's very short workflow, so you can do some automation. You can test it. You can see if everything works well. Yeah, so it's quite good. I think so.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I remember the time when ChatGPT just entered the market and everyone was like, I don't know about using, but at least talking about it. And I remember also trying, I have this job description. I need to prepare for the interview with the candidate, for example. And I asked it to just create some questions for me, to be like well prepared. And it doesn't mean that I used all of those questions, but it just as an ideation for me. So I can take a look, I can understand whether I want to focus on this, or maybe if it's like, I don't know, not necessary. Or, for example, there was a case when I hadn't thought about this question, and PT like shared
Highlighted
the
for
list.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like, oh,
good
that
question.
is, yeah, a really good question. I hadn't thought about it. So, yeah, definitely. And I also see a lot of cases at the moment. I'm not even talking about AA note takers anymore, because it's like already on the market. Many companies and individuals use it, right? But yeah, onboard and exit interviews, and especially with this cloud work now, uh, it's just another topic that we may cover later. So yeah, um, got it. Thank you, Julia.
And
Then
to be fair, sorry if
yep.
I'm interrupting, just want to maybe add. So when we're talking about the co-work, cloud co-work, so what Claude did, so this is this is like the automation, but you didn't
Mm-hmm.
see the background. So
Yep.
everything that you are trying to say to co-work what he should do. So he definitely create the documents, read the documents, send the emails. Yeah, so this is the real automation, but you don't see the the back
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like a couple of months ago, for like to make it all happen, you should have used again Make, Zapier, or NA10 to connect all of this. You still have, but
Yeah.
yeah, some of the things are like more easy now and don't require the technical, let's say, skills. All right. And yeah, as we also touched on the hype on this topic, like, where do you think this hype is justified, or like, and where do you think it just get oversold?
I think the hype is when someone talking, oh, I use AI, I use automation, and just bombing you with a lot of, like 5, 10, 15 tools. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking, okay, why do you need all of them?
Yeah.
So I think, especially when there is some updates, okay, with about the OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google, okay, it's absolutely fine. They're beating each other with these new updates, etc. But when we have like them, I don't know, 3.5 sourcing tool, no 3.5, I think we have right now 50 or 100 sourcing
Hmm.
tools, but they're working the same. So the technical parts working the same. So we're just naming other tools, but at the end, the result is the same. So I think the hype is between these. So when we need to learn more or have as much AI tools or automation tools as possible, I think this is some kind of the hype. Yeah. So for me,
Yeah.
it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel you here, because also, like, when I see, especially on LinkedIn, everyone is talking about X amount of tools, new ones that you all should know.
If you don't
And
know them, yeah, you're like on the back of
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And you're like, but they all do the same. Why? Like, if I know, for example, how these, just a couple of these tools work, the idea behind it, I can learn the rest. If I, for example, if I join a new company and then there is another like completely different tool, but still it's the same in my opinion. Yeah. So it's kind of, yeah, the hype around this and this bus, I would say, is frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, and
And
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I have 3 paid subscriptions to ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. But I use them for now. I'm just like use them for different things. And yeah, for now, I'm just considering whether I actually need all of these 3 or I'll stop on one. At this very moment, I can't say that one tool will actually help me with everything that I need. So that's why it's like kind of testing and like trying and testing now. But yeah, we'll see what happens in a couple of months.
I'm on the same page as you. So all 3 of them, yeah, ChatGPT. Well, to be honest, ChatGPT it's less right now, but it's
Yeah.
because I do love Claude. So
Mhm.
Claude, Gemini, yeah, they are on my top priority, but ChatGPT is also quite good. So, and definitely you highlight very well that each of them are very good in a specific task. So you just need to clarify what kind of AI do you need to use for specific task. And I also
Yeah.
think that this hype that everybody need to use AI. Yeah, okay, perfect. I think yes, but not in all workflow or on each company, you need to have some automation. So I believe that, for
Mhm.
example, if the company like very big, like enterprise company or company that have like very good ATA system or HRM system, so you do not need to add some AI or automation tools if you have a really good ATA system that covers basically all your needs. You don't need to add anything, to be fair. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
don't know why companies sometimes trying to do this.
I think it's more connected to like not these huge enterprises, like from what I've seen so far, but for smaller companies. Because, yeah, for big ones, like couple of thousand employees, let's say, the only thing that I can think of at the moment, maybe I'll change my mind in a couple of weeks, but for example, if you're in HR, you can automate something depending on what tools you already have, what CRM or
Yeah.
ATS. So, for example, the performance reviews or the again as you mentioned exit interviews, like all the results could be downloaded to it's usually it's in your CRM system, but still you need to go and check every detail, but AI can actually analyze all of this data and flag to you some of the important stuff. So I think for this, yeah, you can actually use AI. But yeah, automate just to automate,
Because these tools
debatable.
are very good, so you don't need to add some automation, yeah, on this part. But for, let's say, middle-sized team or small companies, or for example, freelance recruiters, it's in 100% very
Mm.
good stuff to do. Yeah. So if we're talking about some ROI, so on
Mhm.
this side, small and middle companies, they have a lot of good results about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, if we're talking about also about your experience, so can you talk to me a bit more about your experience of automating things? What have you tried already? What do you think worked for you and maybe it did not work that well? And what you can recommend?
So definitely what works for me. So all this intake part and create intake meetings with the hiring manager, with the client. So it definitely helps. I mentioned before the transcription, the feedback
Mhm.
after the interview, the email sequences while you are reaching out to the candidates. So I'm still scary a little bit more to automate something with LinkedIn. I don't want to do
Mhm.
this. I'm really scared.
Uh,
No, I don't want.
I agree.
Yeah. So it didn't work. It don't work this. But here, if we're talking about some email sequences, absolutely. So very I used to like some automating tools like Reply AI or something like this when I
Mhm.
was trying to reach out to the candidates. Right now, I can do it by my own, just using spreadsheet and Gmail. And that's all.
Mhm.
And of
Mhm.
course, yeah, it's Make or NA10 or Zapier. So, and that's all. And it cost me like, I don't know, $5,
Mhm.
not $30. So, yeah, it really helps. So I usually, if we're talking about the automation, I usually use right now make.com
Mm-hmm.
or Zapier. So I
Mm-hmm.
also use Zapier. A little bit N8, but it's too technical and
Technical.
too tech heavy for me, to be fair. So I started to automate everything from Make. It helps me to understand the structure, these API things, webhooks, etc. Yeah, I remember my first automation. I did it for two days, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
like I was crying on it, and I was like, no, I will never do this again. But now everything then works very well. And yeah, right now it's very good. So basically, I need to learn probably these things just to start. So the first, it's always quite hard. And I think if you will ask other people about their first automation, I think nobody will tell you that, oh, my first automation was very good. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Very
So
easy.
yeah, very easy. It works smoothly. So no, it's not. Yeah. So basically, my work environment is Google Docs, Google environment. I do use Airtable, and I created
Mhm.
like my ATS system right now, custom ATS system. And after the Cloud Cowork and Cloud Code, I don't know why I'm telling this, but yeah, okay. I'm trying to write my own custom ATS system. I don't know if it will work, but yeah. So it helps a lot.
Mhm.
So very simple, to be fair, like usual stuff that we're using, but plus Zapier or Make. So Zapier I like because it also have a very good AI assistant. So you
Yeah,
can
I agree.
speak with him like you're speaking with me, and he will
Mhm.
just create all this workflow. And at make.com, for example, you need to do it manually. But
Yep.
yeah, it's probably this is the main difference between two of them. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's also like, again, to be fair, I started with NA10 and it was a mistake because
I
it
heard
was
a lot
so,
of us. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's very
yeah,
hard.
it was so difficult. And yeah, I was also like crying to my partner that I will never do it again and all that stuff. And then like it worked at the end, but I decided that, wait, I can't at this moment,
Hmm.
to proceed with it because again, it's too technical for me. So then I tried Zapier and I
Hmm.
liked it a lot, to be honest. And as you mentioned, the AI assistant that they have, I just, yeah, I was, chatting as with the friend and I mean, and yeah, I created automation. I created an automation of like every new role for HRs on specific from the specific websites. It would analyze exactly what I need and send it over Slack. So, and if a new role pops up on this website, yeah, it will share like all the main information about the location, the salaries, why, for example, I am a good fit for this role, and etc. So I tried with this, just as a testing project. So yeah, that was one thing. And for example, and only then I tried Make. Make is
Oh,
more, yeah, Make is more visual for me. So it's like
yeah.
a little bit,
User
I don't know,
friendly or UI
yeah,
UX friendly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but again, as you mentioned, you need to actually understand a bit the logic and you need to do everything manually. And Zapier helps with everything. So, like
Mhm.
for me, these two are worth trying and automating stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, you
these are
started
pretty.
with a really good with a really good example about searching some information in the on the different websites and then just gather information. So probably if someone is also who will be listening to our podcast interested in content creating, etc., etc., I think
Mhm.
there's also a very good part where you could automate something, not just like, for example, creating the post for you, but to analyze the news, to
Yep.
analyze the, for example, YouTube channels, yeah, fix some trends, etc., etc. Yeah, so it's really helps.
Yeah, and actually, one thing that I did with this new Claude, I have this desktop, and I also have a website version, but which is in your like extension. And I don't know if you used it already. If you did, also let me know what
You
you
mean
think.
the Chrome extension? You mean?
Yeah, the Chrome
Okay.
extension.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I also have like my favorite newsletters, and I asked it to send me like every day. It sends me, not sends, but saves to my Notion the like a couple of topics and some news that I like to read. Of course, I gave it all what I want from it. And yeah, every day at 8 a.m. now I have some 3 topics that I have to read and a couple of more that just worth reading. So it's also, I don't need to go to this, to one, two, second, and third website and read through this all. I just go to my Notion and read short description, and then if I like it, I can open a bigger one and read through it also.
Nice. It's like your personal newsletter for a day, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, really good.
Yeah, so I decided, like, when I heard about this extension for Chrome, I decided, okay, I will try with that. And yeah, I do like it. So yeah, quite nice.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and yeah, again, coming back to your experience, you work with different clients and companies now, right?
Yeah, so I usually work as a contract recruiter for some period of time for one company, or yeah, I'm doing freelance and like have several clients and helping them to find the candidates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have this experience with mentorship, with
Mm-hmm.
mentoring some HR. So right now I just want maybe to have some mentoring program for this automation thing. Yeah, because I think it's a little bit noisy right now. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it's very useful, like to teach or to share your experience with other people who need that. But also, one more question here. Like, if we're talking about, of course, if you can share your recent example of automating something for like any company that you worked for or any project that you worked on.
Yeah, so basically, this is more like small teams. So I mostly, yeah, work like with a small team, like up to 50 people. So it's usually like one HR slash recruiter, talent acquisition
Mm-hmm.
specialist. So yeah, basically, I just help them to. So they do have the ATS system, tracking system.
Mm-hmm.
So they do not need like a lot of automation. But for example, I add some AI plus automation to help them to make the feedback to the candidates more personal. So we are
Mm-hmm.
talking about the rejections after the severe reviewing, but it's not like, oh, we are very happy that you apply for our role, but you
Yeah.
know we want to progress you for the next stage. So it helps to analyze, for example, the CV and the match with the job description and highlight some critical thing why the recruiter not progressing the candidate to the next role. So in a very polite form, but the candidate have some marks, for example, why I'm rejected, but not just like because there's a lot of application. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so and this stuff with the writing the feedback from the and scorecards, for example,
Mm-hmm.
for the recruiters and for the hiring managers. I know that a lot of hiring managers struggling and they don't have like a lot of time. They don't like to do the scorecards. Yeah, and usually recruiters, you know, they always need to remind, etc., etc. So it usually helps to just to have some transcription, meta view, for example, and scorecard, and just to gather everything. So the manager just need to review and approve. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And like, what did you use for that? If I also may ask, what, for example, ATS system they have, if you can recommend it, and if you used Zapier, Make, or
yeah, so they do
whatsoever.
have like their own custom
Uh-huh.
ATS system. So basically what I used, so it was like their APIs, custom API from their ATS to connect with all the data that I need. Then it was like the spreadsheet, the traditional spreadsheet, Notion, transformation, it was MetaView, and to gather all this stuff, it was just Make, to be fair. Yeah, so that's all.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not very complicated. If you understand the workflow and what kind of systems involves in this workflow, then you need to clarify what type of automation do you need. And to be fair, that's all. Not so complicated.
Yeah, it just looks like it.
Yeah, it
When
has
you
like
need to,
automation.
yeah. When you just need to start, but then when you start, it's like, oh, that was pretty okay-ish.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, and then for a founder or HR who wants to start automating their hiring process, whatever, what's the right first step for them? Like, where do they begin?
Well, definitely, I always recommend them to start with their goals and decided why do they need to automate. So if they really understood why they need to automate, so for example, then they need to decrease the hiring process, let's say the time to hire, for example, or they know where exactly they have the gap in the recruitment process, or for example they do understand that their onboarding process is like a chaotic one, and they need to structure it. So basically just starting with the why I'm doing this, then to track or get the point B, the goal, what if the HR leader or founder, so they don't have this like the final picture how it should be.
Yep.
Yeah, it's also quite critical. So after this, then you just need to find someone who will help you with this, or just to automate it by yourself. So you need to describe the workflow in a very detailed scenario as soon as possible with how does it work, who involved in this process, what kind of system we are using, etc., etc. Then you need to create this scenario of this automation, then do this automation thing. The next part, you need just to test it. So you don't need just to write the scenario and just implement it on your real
and
database.
forget about it.
No, you just need to have some test environment. Yeah, so you just test it. There definitely will be some mistakes. You need to fix them. And after 1 or 2 rounds of this testing, then you can implement it to your real workflow. And to be fair, like once, it depends also on the dynamic, but I don't know, once in a month or once in 2 months or 2 weeks, you just need to check if there will be any issues, and maybe sometimes you need to update some things about the APIs, etc., but it's quite normal thing.
Yeah, and I would also like add, before actually jumping into automating, just to automate, as you mentioned, right? The first question is like, why do we need that? You can also look at your workflow, the full one, and understand where actually you are like wasting some time, or where this automation is necessary, maybe, or
Yep.
needed. Because sometimes it could be that like you don't need it, your process is okay, and you just need, I don't know, a faster response from your hiring manager or whatever. But you're trying to like, you're actually spending your time and energy on something that won't then work for you as you imagine it for yourself. So yeah, definitely agree here that the first question is always like, why?
Right. Yeah. I think so, yes. No, and if you do have like some work, the other thing that maybe I want to say, so we could automate definitely very clear workflow. We can't automate if there is some chaotic thing. So we can't automate, or we can't automate this. So if your process isn't clear, if you don't understand how the human do this, to be fair, So you can't automate it because it's really complicated. So maybe like the first step, it will be like maybe to clarify how my business process, recruitment process working. Is there
Mhm.
clear workflow, or I do have some, like, I don't know, documents, and that's all, and nobody is looking at this. And there is some documents and there is the real workflow, you know? So
In the
it
real
depends.
life.
The
Yeah.
real life, yeah, yeah. You think your recruiter are using ATA system, but they're not. I'm just curious. Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, but they still keep everything just in their direct
Spreadsheet,
messages.
yeah. Yeah, spreadsheet or
Spreadsheet
direct.
looks good over.
Okay. Maybe.
I've seen a lot. So yeah, all right. So and also, what are your, let's say, personal predictions for this year, where the AI and this all stuff in HR goes to?
I think it goes to agentic workflow and
Mhm.
agentic AI, not just like creating some prompts with AI, but it will be more in agentic thing. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it will be more automation and it will be more smart cloud. Well, cloud and cloud co-work, they are quite smart right now. Yeah, so basically I think it's going everything there. And I think we will definitely have like this AI co-workers in our
Mhm.
workflow, and will be like junior assistant, to be fair.
Mhm.
So I think everything is going out there. Yeah.
Do you think that companies would build those AI coworkers for each and every, let's say, department or team? Or you think that, for example, we as HRs and recruiters should do that for ourselves?
I think it both. So the company, if you are working in the company, so the company need to give you this infrastructure and the main tools. So for example, it could be Copilot if you're talking about some
Mhm.
enterprise companies who are using Microsoft, or it could be Cloud Code or ChatGPT, etc. But so they give you this environment, technical
Yep.
environment. But then I do think that we, as an expert in recruitment, in HR, we need to give the data and to train the system how they should work on our behalf, let's say.
Mhm.
So right now, what we see that if we're talking about the cloud, we have these skills, yeah,
Mhm.
and plugins. So right now you can definitely write by your own how your, for example, I have like sourcing assistant.
Mhm.
So definitely it really helps. So I told him who is he, how he should write the Boolean search, how he shouldn't write them, such how he should define the donor companies and what is not the donor company, etc., etc. So it really helps, for example, for the sourcing strategy as well. So and like this example, we can implement to each other recruitment
Mhm.
process, recruitment stage, or HR process. I think so, yeah. So basically, I think we will have like Copilot HR, yeah, like Cloud HR and everybody. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, Nothing to add, probably
We'll see.
here.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, looks like we
Ask
are
me in a
going.
year.
Yeah, it's a lot. I
Okay,
think
maybe
even
6 months.
yeah, half a year
Okay, maybe.
would be already enough for that. Okay, so and just the last question from my side here. One book, resource, or newsletter that you would recommend to each and every HR and recruiter on this topic.
Okay, it's not an advertisement, but I will definitely say that if we're talking about the real community and really great, really prepared, good prepared information, it's PromptMate. I'm not sure,
Mhm.
maybe you
Yeah,
heard of them. So
yeah.
yeah, I really like them because they do invite good people just to share their experience, and there are like very practical workflows that you could just read and think, or should I implement this for my workflow or no. Mm, there is no book, to be fair.
Mhm.
about
Not
AI.
yet.
Not yet. We'll think. Well, who knows how the notebook LLM will work? Let's see. But yeah, I do like the Anthropic, and I know that they also have some courses.
Yep.
And
Free courses.
yeah, and I think they do have like certification with them. So
Mhm.
basically, like OpenAI or Anthropic, something like this, you can just like search their courses, and they give you like very good structured information how we should work with Cloud or ChatGPT. Yeah, so it's really helpful. I think we should start with this, and then think on how we should automate it, etc., etc. Start with the basics, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And again, we're
Same from
talking
your
about
side?
yeah, we're talking about Claude a lot. I feel like a lot today, but yeah, they have like free resources, how to use these skills, how they call it, and also, yeah, as you mentioned, the like courses. And I think also Google has
Yeah.
some free courses and certifications as well. So that's also very useful. Another thing that I do like is probably yeah, HR stack. So also like different topics, but most recently it's more about AI
Yeah.
for HR. So also worth like
To subscribe to
yeah,
learn.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
also quite
to
good.
yeah. Okay, so maybe you'd like to share something also about your upcoming projects or yeah.
No, it's not more like the upcoming project, but I'm thinking maybe to have some mentorship program about the AI and automation. So
Mhm.
yeah, if someone is interested, I'm happy maybe to discuss it in direct messages. So yeah, probably this will be like a short focus for the next quarter. I think so. Yeah, so but the main project just to optimize to learn more about AI. I think it's always you never know
It,
how you will what information you need to learn in I don't know in 3 months. So yeah, to be fair.
mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah, that's true. And as for your own mentorship, are you ready to take a lot of people, or this is more about one-on-one mentorship program? And yeah, should we drop any details in the comments later on?
yeah, I think probably I will add the link in the comment, but it will be more like personal. So yeah, I want just to start maybe some one-on-one or very small group, like I don't know, 3, 4 people in a maximum, because I do believe that this group dynamic it also helps to yeah
Mhm.
to be motivated and to see other things from other people. So probably like a very small boutique, if I could say so, mentorship program. Yeah.
Sound good. Sounds like a great plan. All right. So, yeah, thank you again so much for joining me today and for sharing your experience in this new AI era, let's say. And yeah, happy to see you in the next ones.
Yeah, Julia, thank you very much for for having me, and it was a real pleasure to speak with you. And it was my first podcast about AI and automation. So yeah, it was really interesting to speak to. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, and I hope yeah everybody will enjoy our podcast. And if you do have guys any questions, just drop us a comment, and yeah, we'll review it. And always interested to hear another thoughts, yeah, and some questions as well. So thank you.
So questions, comments, suggestions, whatever. Yeah,
Likes
we'll
as well.
likes, of course, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.